My name is Katie Cunha. Cyndy Kirkwood is my mom. First of all, thanks so much to St. Anthony's, the choir, the people who make the food. They're telling me people are taking their time to sing everything and help us through this. It's been amazing week showing up to see people who sent flowers. What a beautiful surprise. Yeah, my mom used to come here all the time, so it's beautiful to see that Father Tony recognized that change. It's just a beautiful thing. So yeah, this week has been just the worst week of our lives for my family. I used to talk with my mom almost every day, sometimes twice a day. She would always say, "Hello, my beautiful daughter." She was such a warm person. It's kind of like my family all had this warm Cyndy blanket around us when she was around. She took care of us, of everything. She gave everything she had to her family. And last Friday, this warm blanket got ripped away. We all feel a bit lost, and the world seems colder. My mom always did take care of us and everyone. She loved to give hugs, smiles, gifts, phone calls, prayers, money. If she saw someone in need, she made sure to help. My mom was also a very charismatic person. I had many friends say to me, "Your mom was so nice and calm throughout my life." I remember a school camping trip where she started a water gun fight with the kids that was so fun. People talked about it for weeks. She was great with kids too, and never too proud to be silly or goofy either. My kids loved their grandma. They would call her a lot, go to sleepovers at her house. My son found his secret hangout spot, which happened to be taking him to the mall because he knew she would buy him something. She loved planning things too. My husband would sometimes say that Cyndy is always 2 steps ahead of us. There was a birthday coming up. She was thinking about it 2 months in advance. And she would say things like, "You guys should go on a date night this Friday and I'll watch the kids." We actually have a family trip I don't know anything about for Manistee at a Hilton, I think. She booked it in January for our birthdays in August. It would have been her 70th birthday. And I know she's celebrating her heavenly birthday right now. One thing many people know my mom for is her generosity. She would give you the shirt off her back, even if it meant she would be cold. She was famous for leaving tips at hotels for the cleaning people, sending money in the mail for people she felt God laid on her heart, giving money to the person cleaning the floor of a hotel bathroom. I've never had to ask her for money in my life, because anytime she heard a need, she opened her purse with this crumpled up dollar bills or 20s or 50s, just gave money without hesitation. She would go get her hair done at the beauty schools for $10, wear clothes from Goodwill, and say things like, "It's God's money. How much am I really going to keep for myself? I already have everything I need." Some of the best lessons she taught me in life are always look for the best in people, have compassion on the hurting, love unconditionally, give more than you get, be quick to say you're sorry, pick your battles, and trust God always. It was such a shock that she died, because she was overall very healthy and active. None of us saw this coming, but I want to share a story of how I saw God's hand in preparation for this that really comforts me to this day. 2 weeks before she died, I went to a bridal shower, and a friend was there telling me about the death of her mother with tears in her eyes. She said if I just had one more day to be with her, I would give anything. The next day, I felt so strongly I needed to talk with my mom about how I would feel if she died, which I had never done. I said, "Mom, I just want to say that if you ever died, I would be so sad. I know you wouldn't want me to be sad." She would say that a lot. I know Kevin said, "Well, Mom prepared me for this for a long time." Even though she didn't know she was going to die, but she just didn't want us to be sad. I told her I would miss your calls every day, your kind words, how you supported me through my whole life. She's been at every sporting event, just an all-around amazing mother. That I would miss you so much. We both cried together, and it was probably the closest I felt to her in my whole life. Then a couple of days later, my daughters, just out of the blue, asked Grandma, just said they felt like they wanted to see Grandma. Usually it was always Grandma calling and saying, "Do they want to come over?" But they just initiated it. And I thought, son, a couple days later, Matthew said he just wanted to be with Grandma and spend time with her. And I joked, I said, well, probably because you want her to buy you something, right? And he said, no, I just want to be with her. And he's never said that before. Then a few days before she died, she called me out of nowhere and started talking about my husband and when she was in menopause. She said she was really mean because she just didn't feel like herself. And she said, I just felt on my heart to say sorry to Wilson. Just let him know that I love him as a son. And I'm sorry I was like that during that time. And I was like, where is this coming from? I just think I think of these events that happened. And then I didn't think of them at the time, but the moment my dad called and said that she was gone, they all came together. And then that night I was just devastated, just bawling. My eyes were just raw and couldn't even open them from how sad it was. And I prayed and I said, God, I don't know how I'm going to make it. There's a hole in my heart, and I don't know how it's going to get filled again. I can't imagine my life seems so empty and lost. And the next day I was just sitting around my dad and my brothers, and we were just laughing about sharing stories. And my daughter, Bella, came up, and she's never done this before. She just came up behind me and started playing my hair. For a split second, I thought it was my mom, because she always did that. And I thought, that's just her. God's way of showing me he's still here. And my son, a few minutes later, said, Mom, your hair looks so pretty. He's never said that. And my mom always used to say that to me. And so I know this is a shock for a lot of people. But I do think that this was her time. And on Valentine's Day, this woman who was so full of love got the greatest gift to go home, without suffering, without being an inconvenience to anybody, taking time or money in the hospital, taking care of her. Not that those things are wrong, but it's just not my mom. And then I walked in, seeing her on the floor, with her hand stretched up and her eyes closed. I knew in these last moments she probably saw Jesus reaching his hand for hers. And she closed her eyes and let herself go. I will miss her terribly. She'll be forever woven into every part of my life. Thank you all for coming today and helping to support us. And remember her. I know she'll be happy to see